Greeting everyone. My name is Muhammad Rafi Affandi. You can call me as Rafi. Today I would like to tell you about how not to waste your tea because at this midterm test I would tell you about how to make waste tea to fertilize your plant. Okay, as every Indonesian know, tea is one of many essential things to Indonesian people. Indonesian people use tea mostly for drinking, especially as a treat for guests. Some people like plains or others maybe like it sweets with sugar. But Indonesian people does not know that tea has more advantages than being a very tasty beverage. Actually, the tea leaf waste that we use for drinking are still very useful for us, especially for our plant. As always, we know that many of us only use tea bags or tea leaves only for once. Yes, that for only when we boil it and we make a drink, make a beverage for ourselves or maybe for our guests. And after that, we just immediately throw it away and become a waste. Yeah, but we do not know that how useful the tea waste is. Like if you do not know before, the tea is recognized to have the high capacity of caffeine and nitrogen. That is very good for our plant. This nitrogen and also caffeine help the root and plant the body growth of the plant, of course. There is some way to use the tea waste, whatever the tea leaf or the water. Like when you finish to drink your tea, it have a little bit of water that you want to drink because has a lot of tea leaf. You can just you can just pour it into your plant pot. It's for the water, and for the tea leaf, you can make it into a small package or a small pocket like this. This is my first attempt to make the tea waste small pocket. Excuse me, can you see this? Okay, like this. Because when I try this, I make it with 3 into 4 sheets of tissue that I don't want the liquid of the tea will destroy and tear the tissue apart. But let's jump to the topic that how we can make it into from tea waste to this kind of tea waste packet that is very useful for your plant maybe. Right now we'll share you screen about how the tea waste pack. I will share it. Okay, like this I have told you before. The first step, the step of making tea waste packet is very simple actually. You just have a 3 step and every step is very simple. It's very easy to you. First, you can make the paste with the one or maybe 2 sheets if you if you really want to make it dry of tissue. But I recommend it for you for using only 1 sheets because the water itself from this tea waste is still very useful for the plant, and it will make it easier if you want to freeze it. I will explain you later. And secondly, you put your tea waste upside, not upside, above the tissue. And after that, you can fold it. Maybe it's just 3 or 4 times fold until you get this square shape. Maybe can smaller, maybe can bigger. It's depend on how many tea you used to want to make a waste tea package. That if you have more tea, you can use more tissues, but I recommend you again to not use more than 2 or maybe 3. And number 3, you just and number 3, you can freeze it a little bit, maybe for not a very long time, just like for maybe half an hour, or maybe maximum if it's like 45 minutes. It would be like this. This is after I freeze it in my freezer. And the next part, you can tear it apart into 2 parts. You just tear it apart like this. Yes, 2 part, and you just blend it into your plants. Like I just said, that I recommend you to use the 1 sheet only, or maybe if you have a lot of tea, you maximum I recommend you to use 2 maybe, because the tissue is pretty hard to get recycled inside of the plant, inside of the plant, maybe inside of the soil, because tissue is quite long. It's need from 2 or at least 3 weeks to make it once with the soil. And if you just use it once, so the plant can absorb the wasty nitrogen and the wasty caffeine a little bit more, not a little bit, a lot faster than you use a lot of tissue. Okay, and even though it's quite very trivial, but it's very important not to throw away organic things. Like the case is this tea waste that you can make to fertilize your plant. Like the example is this tea waste, of course. The last thing that is very important is that this kind of simple thing can very beneficial when we make this massively, or on the other way we can sell it. This is just the project, maybe it's very not perfect and it's pretty not done yet, design. And it's quite cheap because the thing that we use is just 2 ingredients, that is the tea waste and the small tissue. And if I calculated before, it just only costs with from 1,000 and 1,500 rupiah, or maybe the most expensive, maybe you use the high grade of tea, maybe you can just pay it for 4,000 rupiah. Maybe it's you have a very great tea. And the last thing I would to say is thank you for your enthusiasm, and my apologies is if I have some last word. And have a great day, everyone. Thank you very much for attending my presentation. Thank you very much. Greeting, my name is Rafi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.